Hey, Disturbing listeners, Love is Blind, Season 7. Let's check it out.
The other interesting thing is I'm a lot like Britney's exes. Very structured, very like analytical. And you know what? I feel like her and I would attract each other outside of the pods. Hannah and I, that just came to me. Hannah and I would not.
So, who knows? It's edited, but one of the hallmarks of people who have grandiose self-centeredness is that they tend to take up a lot of space in conversations, and they don't ask a lot of questions. We're just seeing an edit, but just another tick in the column.
Go home and find someone like our ex.
They're two very different kind of girls. Brittany's gonna be expensive.
I have money.
There it is again. There it is. I have money. So maybe him and Brittany would be perfect for each other. Kind of looks that way. I'd be curious. It would be one of the interesting couplings on this show, because usually we're thinking, yay, or at least usually, right? Sometimes, though, it would just be interesting to see how they met. Yeah, I'd be really curious. I'd be curious how this guy matches up with Hannah, too. I mean, yeah. So sometimes I'm pulling for couples. Other times I'm neutral. Other times I'm thinking, no, don't do it. I guess there's a fourth category of just like morbid curiosity.
He's a fun time.
Like, I do like him, don't get me wrong. And like, thing is, like, I think he's a hot guy. I don't think he's ever had a problem finding someone. I feel like with him, I'd have to be this perfect woman.
How are you still talking to him?
Because he's charming.
Nick D, he's such a charming man. And he has got me charmed.
I really think he's ready.
Okay, it kind of sounds like Hannah, is getting defensive about the fact that she's still talking to Nick Dork something. And that points to maybe that she has been criticized directly or indirectly by the other women in the lounge, and the other women, I think, are saying he's a flirt and he is a player, maybe is what they're thinking, or he's fake. Yeah, I don't know. I could see it going a lot of different ways. I've been paying attention to Nick and the way he comes across. It's possible that, because he did say in a one-on-one interview that he gets very nervous, and he is very nervous in the pods. It could just be something he's doing out of nervousness. People will do that sometimes. It also could be that he thinks that in order to get anyone to like him, he has to come across in a certain way, and he has to say certain things, certain Rico Suave, as they were saying, sort of things, like complimenting the women and being playful and keeping, in my world, it's like keeping the needle moving in terms of the audio. As a podcaster, as a YouTuber, I consider it very important that there's no dead space. You keep the needle moving. And so he might think that that's important, and in some ways it is. You know, the opposite is not advised, right? To just be quiet and non-communicative and non-complimentary. So he might just be leaning into that. Or he is fake and he is putting on a persona. He is falsely complimenting as many women, because it sounds like a lot of the women are saying he has been flirting with a lot of us. I don't know what that means. Are they just basing that on the first date, or has he been similar to a lot of the women? I don't know. I could see that. It doesn't inspire confidence the way that he talks, you know, contrasting the way Nick talks to Hannah and Brittany, particularly Hannah, the way Nick talks to Hannah, but also contrasting that with the way that Garrett is talking to Taylor. It doesn't inspire confidence, but, you know, some people flirt and hit. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? You're supposed to flirt on some level, right? And that's his style.
I think he really wants a wife, and I'm like his number one. And
He's been telling you this whole time?
Yeah.
What do you need to get out there? Like, think about it.
He's just so hard for me to figure out because he says these things, and I'm.
Okay, so Hannah is saying that Nick is saying that Hannah is Nick's number one. We haven't seen that in the edit, so that's interesting because we know that Nick is also interested in Brittany. And we don't know if he's telling Brittany that, she's his number one. The fact that she just said that to some of the women and none of them in the edit anyway he said I was his number one means that maybe there is some sincerity to it. I don't know. We can never tell. There's no way to tell. I don't think I've ever seen a situation in the edit where I was like, oh, that person is faking. A lot of people will accuse cast members of that, but take it from me as someone that deals professionally in the truth space, if you will, truth versus lie. There's no way to tell. You can have hunches, and I do sometimes, but you can never know if someone is being sincere or not. People can lie very well and come across as sincere. People can be sincere but come across like they're lying. We just don't know. Some people can be ignorant of what they really want, and consciously they think they're not lying, but really they're not, really into it. So we just can't tell.
I don't believe him, and I just still don't know why I don't believe him, but I feel like it's just a gut feeling.
Well, because your gut feeling.
Yeah. The way he talks, you can tell that he's very experienced with women.
Okay, so two things. One, gut and experience with women. It seems like that's the consensus. He doesn't look that way to me. Maybe by contrast to the other guys on this show, I don't know. But he doesn't come across as someone who's experienced with women at all, really. He might be, but that would not, and I'm only seeing snippets here and there, but that's one thing that I'll say. The other thing is that, another factor here is that they're young. I think they were saying they were the two youngest people, that Nick and Hannah were the two youngest at, I think, 28, 26. They've lived through the pandemic. Some very important socializing years were during the pandemic. They might have some stuntedness to their socializing and dating and flirting. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there as a possible factor. But we also heard the other woman saying it's your gut feeling. And there's a lot of rhetoric online about your gut feeling and, following it and listening to it. And I will hear people say extreme things that I don't think are very helpful to believe, that you should always follow your gut. That is ridiculous because our gut reacts to various things in various ways. And now there are three things I'll say. One is that often people will emerge out of a bad situation, a bad relationship, or a bad work situation or something, and they will retroactively look back and remember that they had a gut feeling that was telling them something was wrong, and they regret not listening to that. And so then the adage or the proverb from that is always listen to your gut. No. Should you have listened to your gut? Yeah. But sometimes your gut is wrong or is based on faulty information, or you're misinterpreting your gut. The more wise thing to say is at any given time, listen to all the data and question things. You still might come to the same conclusion, but you should be not ignoring data like your gut, or talking with other people, or noticing certain things, or valuing your own safety or your own needs, right? All those things should be listened to. Your gut is a part of that, but not always accurate. My gut has told me so many things that I have later reflected and am glad I didn't follow my gut, or I have followed my gut and regretted it. So she is saying that her gut is telling her that Nick is faking or is up to no good. Okay, that's something to listen to. That's a big thing, because in dating, your gut is going to be reacting to various things. But alternatively, our gut will say, I want to be with this person, or your groin is telling you you want to be with this person. Maybe you should listen to your groin, maybe not. There's a lot of different things to listen to, and it's hard. And in a situation like this, even with a lot of information, a lot more information than they get, it would still be hard, because how would you know anything about whether or not this is the right person? You barely know these people. So they're trying to find answers. I'll have clients that will come to me with questions along, not in a situation like this, but similar situations. And sometimes we'll collaboratively come to the place of, there's no way to have enough information to be sure about what to do moving forward. You just don't know. Like 6 months into a relationship, and you're wondering, is this the one? Is this the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life? I think this person is the one, but how would I know? There's no way to know. You just don't have enough data. A lot of things can happen. Your own motivations can change. The two people can change. The feelings can change. Circumstances can come up. Secrets can be revealed. You just don't know. So you have to be able to be okay with that. And in this situation, you have to really be okay with the lack of information. I understand needing to, or wanting to find that, and listening to your gut is a part of that. But if I were there, I'd be like, well, your gut is telling you one thing, your head is telling you something else, all these other women are telling you something else. Your groin is telling you something. What do you do? I don't know. Now for Hannah, I'm trying to remember who else is someone else on her list. Right. So she likes Leo and Nick D. So yeah, that'd be hard. It's not whether you should go with, because if you only liked one person, you could be like, well, I'll go with this person, and if we end up finding that we're not really compatible once we meet in person, then okay, no harm, no foul there. But if you're trying to choose between two people, then that is tough.
Such strong feelings for him. I don't want him to ever break my heart. I think he wants a trophy wife. He definitely objectifies me. Like I can't wait to see you in a bikini. If I was 250 pounds and maybe not like a supermodel, I know he wouldn't. He's like someone I think that like I would not want to go to sleep without makeup on.
That sounds like a walking red flag.
It's interesting. I'm trying to remember that conversation that they had. That's not how I took it. The way that it looked to me was that Nick was trying to flirt. He was trying to either express a real feeling of attraction to Hannah, or he was just trying to emphasize all the dimensions of a relationship. People might think, well, we're connecting emotionally, but I also want there to be that physical attraction. And so I'm going to think about that or talk about that. And he was talking about wanting to be with her physically, wanting to see her. Yeah, so I guess that is, the thing about objectification is, or more broadly about sexual attraction visually, is that typically we want our sexual romantic partner to be attracted to us, right? Visually included. And that means that they're going to say, hey, I like that part of your body, or I like the way you look, or I like you in this outfit, or I want to touch that thing. And outside of a consensual, mutual relationship, it can be potentially objectifying, right? It can be demeaning, it can be invasive, it can be creepy, it can be coercive, it can be scary. She's saying that he is objectifying her, but she was playing along. It almost seemed like she was the one initiating. Didn't she initiate part of that conversation? So maybe it sounds like she's a lot more ambivalent about that talk, and maybe is worried about if he would really like her look. I don't know.
He's a charmer. Watch me go in there today, and then I'm like, I love him.
You're gonna like cut him loose at some point, right?
I just don't want to cut him off yet. I don't know.
Hannah, you know what you gotta do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You just don't want to do what you want you need to do.
You know what you gotta do.
So I'm not a fan of the way that they're talking to her. It looks to me in the edit that she really is ambivalent, that she doesn't know if she should be with Nick or not. which means that she believes that Nick might be sincere. Everyone is basically assuming that Nick is faking it and not really a good choice, and is telling her in not so many words that she needs to cut it off with Nick. That is, I don't think that's being received very well. Maybe that is the best advice, but if I were there as a friend, I would not be, even if I thought that or had to urge, I would more sit with her in her ambivalence and just say like, "Yay, seems like you're on the fence." And given what your experience is with him and given what everyone else is saying, I can see how that's the case. Do you want to talk about it more? Because as soon as you start showing that you have an agenda that you're desperate to get the other person to comply with, then they don't want to talk with you anymore about it because you're pushing them, you're pressuring them. At the very least, it isn't helpful. It might even produce an opposition from her of just like, you people don't understand. I'll show you that he's for real. I'm going to actually get engaged to him, and I'll show you that this is for real. You don't want to put people in a position like that.
I have like a lot of concerns with you.
Okay, so Nick has stated that he wants to be with Hannah. He has stated in the lounge that he is ready to say that he loves her, and he only wants to be with her. Hannah is thinking about both Nick, Dee, and Leo, and Hannah has all these questions as to whether or not he's sincere. We've seen this sort of confrontation before in the pods. Let's see how this goes. It's a tough situation. What sort of questions do you ask? And if you're Nick D, if you are for real, how do you convince someone that you're for real? It's hard. And if Nick D is faking it and you're Hannah, how would you know if he's faking it? Because if you ask him, are you for real? Then he's just going to say, yes, I am. So it's a tough situation.
I was looking for like the wrong thing, and I want that unconditional love. And a lot of it's been timing or the football, the work stuff, but I'm looking for something other than a girlfriend. I want something sincere. I want something genuine. It's become so clear.
Okay, that's helpful, what he said. I think if I were in Hannah's shoes, I would think that's going in the right direction.
Why has it become clear?
What do you mean? I mean, like, why has it become clear?
Obviously, you talk about how great you look, right? And you're this. Just let me talk. Let me talk.
Okay.
You do. You've got it all. You've probably gotten everything you wanted in life, right?
Okay, interesting. So she's saying, you talk about how great you look, and you talk about how you have everything, and let's see how this goes. I hope he says something like, well, I guess that's a mistake. I guess I'm maybe just talking stuff. I don't know, or I'm trying to come across a certain way. I don't have it all figured out, and I don't even know how necessarily good looking I am, really. I don't know. I don't know what you'd say.
Like, you were a college athlete, then you went pro, and then I don't think you have trouble finding someone in the real world.
You seem pretty perfect. Why are you here?
Okay, it's interesting. So she's basically saying you are coming across like you wouldn't have any problem meeting someone. The way you talk about how great your life is and how good looking you are, I don't understand what's going on. I think what she's saying is, I don't feel perfect, and you come across like maybe you're perfect. So why would you want to be with me once we meet in person? I think that's what she's saying. He says, well, you have presented yourself as perfect and super good looking as well. We're both doing that. And she looks like she is caught in something, like, oh yeah, maybe I have been doing that. I don't know.
I've got a lot of depth in me, and I'm funny, and I know a lot of stuff, and they're never interested in me. I am just hot to them, or I'm just a pretty thing to look at.
As a woman, you feel like you have to be perfect all the time. I have to put my makeup on. I have to be as skinny as possible. My hair has to look good. I have to
Okay, so she's saying that she is objectified, I think, and not engaged with in a way that is more deep and more impersonal, right? She's saying I'm smart and I have a good sense of humor, and that is never valued. You know, these kinds of narratives often have a lot of nuance. If we were to talk with the people who dated her, they might have different things to say. Who knows? But that's what she's saying. And she's saying that she's seen as the hot one.
This perfect person,
Yeah.
and like I don't want to be that. Like I just want to be like unapologetically me.
That's, yeah, I don't know like how else I can say it. Like exactly what you're describing is what I'm looking for in a wife.
Okay, so she's saying, I don't want to have to wear makeup all the time. She said that earlier in the lounge. I don't know if I showed that. She said that she feels like Nick, would be the sort of guy that she would have to go to bed with makeup on, which, yikes. I mean, each to their own, but yikes if you felt like your partner would reject you for not having makeup on some of the time. And I think that at least has something to do with her history. It might have something to do with the way Nick was talking, which could absolutely be valid. But I think it also has to do with her own insecurities, is my guess. And so they're having a good conversation. She's asking about that, and he's saying, yeah, that's exactly what I want. I want someone who doesn't feel like they have to be perfect and look perfect all the time. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's interesting, as I watch the edit, there are certain couples where I would say to the two of them, yeah, I think the next phase is worth checking out. And marriage might work out between the two of you, given what we've seen so far. With these two, I think maybe particularly Hannah at this point, and maybe Nick as well, I would say to the two of them, I don't think this is going to work. I think you should not get engaged and just move on from the show, have some life, go to therapy, and then re-engage with this question as to who and when you want to get married, that kind of thing. I don't know. That's a pretty severe thing to say based on very little information, but I don't know. I'm just kind of having that anxiety because if they do connect here and Hannah is satisfied with what he says, I still would not feel super confident about where they are in their development to navigate the situation, you know?
No one's perfect. Everybody's weird in their own way. I'm super weird. I want you to be unapologetically you.
You want me to be like completely honest with you?
Of course.
I'm scared that like the reason why you like me so much is because you think I'm hot. You're like, so like what bikinis are you gonna wear? Like I can't wait to see that. And it's like, why? Like you just can't wait to see my body? What if my body's not good?
Okay, it was good conversation. It's not in the spirit of the experiment, but it's good conversation. Good to ask this. But she said, I think you assume that I'm hot. Well, you literally just said everyone sees you as hot. You literally just said that. But okay, it was a good conversation. I wonder where, I'm going to take a guess and say that he's going to say, I don't care what you look like. And I think that's possible. You know, I've been watching because a lot of the women are like, oh, he's such a flirt, he's a Rico Suave, and I'm like, I don't know if he's that smooth, but he is flirting or dating in a particular way in the pods. My guess, if I were to put money down, was that he was sincere with Hannah, but he was having a playful way of talking that she was participating in too, and he felt like that's what should be done, and that more serious, vulnerable, real conversation is a bummer, is a downer. And his talk about hotness and about bikinis and stuff, I think was part of that. I don't think he was focused on. I think he is deeper than that, I guess, is what I'm saying. But I don't know. you've probably seen future episodes, and maybe he is one big fake. I'm just running off of what I've seen so far.
That, like,
No, if that's what I was looking for, like, I wouldn't be here. Like, I wouldn't be going through this experience.
you say all the right things. Like, you're great, you're perfect. Like, I don't know what it is. Every time I ask you a question, you articulate it great. You explain your feelings to me. Like,
So why can't you just go with that?
that's the problem. I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's like this like gut feeling, and I can't like figure it.
So there's that gut feeling, and what I would say is that her uncertainty is just a part of the thing. It isn't necessarily something about Nick. Maybe just continue to ask more questions and have some more real conversations like you're having right now. That might help. But she's also saying he has the perfect thing to say. What kind of people has she been dating to that he's perfect? He responds perfectly. Now, maybe what she's just saying is you always say the thing that gets me to think that you are real, but I have all these other women telling me that you're not real. So I'm on the fence. And, I would say, yeah, you're on the fence. It'd be impossible to not be on the fence.
I'm really struggling, I think. I'm really struggling. I think we would have so much fun. I think we'd have a great life. We would have great sex. We would have a good time. I know you say that you would accept me fully, but I just don't know if I believe you.
Well, yeah, no one should believe anyone. And not to say they're all untrustworthy, but proof's in the pudding. You won't know until you meet each other and live with each other and go to the altar and are married for a while. There'd be no way to know. There'd be no way that anyone would know if they were even real about their feelings about someone else. People have probably had feelings in the pods, and then later on, those feelings. We have plenty of people fall in love enough to get married, thinking that they're going to spend the rest of their life with someone, and something like 40% of first marriages end in divorce, meaning that a lot of us are wrong. So. She's looking for certainty. Yeah, it's fine. She's expressing that, and she's not being particularly pressury to him. I wonder what he'll say here. Let's see.
What you look like. I'm just so infatuated with the person you are, how you carry yourself and your drive and your charisma. I love talking to you, and every time I talk to you, it's a feeling I haven't felt. I don't care what you look like, what you wear. Whoever I see, I'm going to love every fucking day.
Okay, yeah, it's a good thing to say. I guess we'll have to wonder if it's sincere or not. I could see a scenario where it is mostly sincere, or it's a spin on what is sincere. Like he has feelings for her and is thinking in the back of his mind, it's like, well, we'll wait and see how things work out in person. But of the 15 women, I definitely feel the best with her. That's different than you are the one for me. I must be with you for the rest of my life. Who knows?
Perfect. I'm not perfect. No matter what you do, I'm gonna love you. Like, I feel like I'm coming in here to talk to my best friend, but I get so fucking giddy. It's like, it's my best friend who I love. Like my best friend, but also my wife.
Okay. I think it's it's in the eye of the beholder. I think for some, they would hear sincerity and the right things. I think others would hear insincerity. I think that the show tries to prime the audience into believing that some people are insincere, maybe for a particular narrative reason, like they did with Sam in UK season 1, which makes me think if they're trying to portray that, then they know that he doesn't make it to the next phase, because they usually don't try to make people in the next phase look like they're faking it. I don't know. I'm trying to game this. I'm trying to meta the situation. Well, for Hannah, she's trying to choose between two men. If I were her friend, I would say, based on what you've heard, who do you like more? Who do you want to be with more? And then, you got to take that leap with one of them, and who knows, maybe it's the wrong choice, but nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I don't know if I like want to end it with someone else. I don't know if like I want to go back in there and like die. Like, I don't know.
So you would end it with me right now?
I really like you. Could we spend the rest of our lives together? I'm just not sure. And I have to be sure.
Okay. They're playing the music like she's breaking up with him, but that isn't what she's saying. She's just saying she's unsure. So there's that. He might take it hard, though. So, okay.
I think you're still working on who you want to be. And I think my connections with other people just grew stronger.
Okay, well, it does sound like she's breaking up with him. That second statement was fine. She's saying, I think my connection with Leo, she's not naming him, is stronger. Okay, yeah, that's tough to hear, but it's important to tell him. But then that first statement, she's like, I think you're still trying to figure out who you are. Even if you think that's true, if you're breaking up with someone, don't say something like that. You know, we see breakups and we see dumpings happen on the show, and I'm often cringing at the dumpers' statements. And no one's perfect. It's a stressful situation. I think Hannah went into this date not intending on breaking up with him, so she might not have had anything prepared. But that's not a great thing to say. She should have just said the second statement. And if she is breaking up with him, because she doesn't know if he's sincere or not, and she's not even really commenting on that. She's just like, yeah, I think I'm just feeling it with someone else. I feel more confident. I feel closer. I feel more connected to someone else at this point. And she should just stick to that. And she doesn't know if he's sincere. He might be sincere, and therefore I hope she shows him compassion. He might be for real. Like with Sam in the UK season 1, there was a lot of assumptions that he was faking it, but once we saw him at the get-together afterwards, at least for me, it was unclear. It's like he could have been for real that whole time and just immature about it, but for real. And just because someone looks like they're faking it doesn't mean that they are. And if there's a chance that they are for real, then you want to be nice about breaking up with them, because they might. There's a chance in this moment that he's like, Hannah is the one for me. I've never felt this way before ever in my life, and I've completely opened myself up, and I've become completely vulnerable, and I put myself out there, and then to be dumped on international television, that's really hard. It's very hurtful. It's very sad. It's very demoralizing. He might be faking, and therefore he wouldn't care, but this might be one of the worst moments of his life, so I hope that she takes care. We've seen a lot of different styles, of breaking up, so we'll see what she does.
That sucks to hear, because I saw myself leaving here with you, and I could see a future with us. But I get it. I guess you didn't think I was the right guy for you, so I really don't have too much else to say, so I hope the rest of your dates go well.
Okay, he's taking it well. Sometimes people cry here. Sometimes they cry in the lounge. Sometimes they might cry when they get back to the hotel at night. Who knows? But he is taking it well here, which I suppose is a tick in the column that he wasn't that invested. And it's kind of reflecting his language. It's like, I wanted to go to the next phase with you, and I saw a future, with us, which could be in the camp that he is sincere, but he's not like 100 billion% wanting to spend the rest of his life with her. He's just like, he likes her enough to see if the next phase will work, and he's open to marriage, but he's not like for sure with her.
And I hope you find the right person for you, because you're beautiful on the inside and out. So I wish you the best of luck.
Okay, so it sounds like he's about to bolt. Hopefully she says something like, hey, I'm really sorry. I do care about you, and I feel bad. Something.
I hear the blood cries in the ground. There's only dust
nothing. She said, I am connecting. What she said something along the lines of, I think I have a better connection with someone else. And that was all she said. I think you are still figuring out who you are, and I'm connecting with someone else more than you. Silence. Nothing. Now, maybe she's freezing, and she has a lot of sorrow, and she is panic silent. I don't know. But not great.
I'm not made of stone. Can't build a world of bones.
Okay, so she's going to talk with her friends, and maybe she'll express that she feels bad. It almost looked like she was about to laugh. I think she might have a nervous laugh. She did it earlier. She might actually have that problem, because it can be a problem because it can really communicate the wrong thing at the wrong time. And so maybe that's what's happening.
You did it.
Yeah.
The deed got done?
Huh?
How'd it go? Why do you feel bad?
He was like, I just pitched my life with you.
And then she says she feels bad, and then all the women are like, why do you feel bad? So everyone has just decided that he's faking it. And maybe he is. They would know more than I would. But I think it's normal that, I think it's healthy that she feels bad. She doesn't have to hate herself or think it was the wrong choice, but there's a chance that she just broke someone's heart. So you should feel bad for that chance.
And he's like, you are my person. Like, I want to marry you.
You said, I'm not sure. And he said, you're my person, I want to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to pee so bad. I'm about to pee my pants.
Oh my God.
I was like, Leo, oh. I did not mean to say that.
Okay, so then Brittany comes back and she says, I have to pee so bad. And I said, Leo, I think she was about to say, Leo, I have to pee. And then she looks at Hannah, who she knows is also talking to Leo, and then they both laugh. Okay. Yeah, it happens. It's bound to happen.
Oh my God. I did not fucking mean to say that.
That's my number one.
It kind of sounds like she didn't know, that Hannah didn't know that Brittany and Leo were talking, and she's just now realizing, oh crap, my number one has another person.
That was my girl. That was my girl. What changed? Something changed, bro. Someone started drama.
You wear this watch if you're like a fucking like CEO or a lawyer or some shit, you know?
That's the Rollie? I've never felt so rich, man.
They're built to be durable despite being fancy, yeah.
So who knows if this is edited to juxtapose Nick being dumped. But at the very least, we're seeing Leo talking about his goddamn Rolex. Who gives a fuck about your stupid ass watch? They're massively they tell the time. That's all that they do. Yeah, God bless. If you want to spend $500,000 on a car, like a McLaren or something, and you want to spend, I don't know, 50 grand on a watch, they're probably more than that, who knows? Fine. But it's not impressive. It's not interesting. It's quite boring. It seems like a waste of money. It's fine. You can spend your money on whatever you want to. But I don't give a shit about your goddamn watch.
Nick D. I think I like love him, but I shouldn't love him. You know what I mean? He's going home today. Fuck me.
Okay, so in this moment, Hannah is mostly focused on herself, which is fine to be partially. But I would also hope that she would worry about having potentially really hurt someone's feelings. She, all's fair in love and war, as they say. So if you didn't want to be with someone, then you don't want to be with someone. But some sorrow, some attention to that, I don't know. But anyway, she's also worried. So is the narrative that we're supposed to think that she's now regretting having let Nick go because she's now competing with Brittany for Leo, and she's thinking, oh crap, I want to game the system and leave here with someone, so I better go reach out to Nick and pull him back out before he goes home? Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until the next episode, which I can watch right now, but it's almost midnight, so let's wrap it up. And tune in next time when I find out what you probably already know, and then you see me react to it. And everyone, please, truly, take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.